Well, good evening, Facebook friends and family, and welcome to another Monday night edition of Can We Chat Here? My name is Sheila Abram, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host,
Maxine Jones from New York. And welcome to Can We Chat Here? Can We Chat Here is about our dreams, our goals, our stories, and our journeys. And what we like to do with Can We Chat Here is just to bring you topics, things that will enhance your life. And tonight, our topic is the impact of family and friends on your dreams of starting a business. Now, we're going to be sharing our stories and some stories of other folks. And so we're going to open the chat room for yours as well. And we also have several that were sent in, so we'll be sharing some of those. So welcome, family and friends, to Can We Chat Here?
So what that means, our viewers, can you start thinking of what story you'll be able to share in the chat bar? Because let me turn the volume down. I'm turning on my Facebook Live so we can see them.
Yep.
Okay.
You
know, so that you can type yours in, and we will briefly run through and start reading some of them. You know, don't write a book, but but we'll definitely share some stories. And you know what? Can I share mine first, Maxine?
Go right ahead. Absolutely.
My story, when we're talking about the impact of family and friends, it's really more the impact of friends for me, because I moved away from home, out of town, completely to another city when I was 18 years of age. So a lot of the influences or conversations were from my friends, you know, and I had this desire to own my own business. I mean, from the time I was about 20 years old. I think that was the age of my first one. And in one of our other Can We Chat Here's, I showed the catalog from one of my first corporation where I was importing eelskin. But my friends were all my age, and I was the only one with that entrepreneur spirit that I want something on my own, you know. And my friends would say, where do you get that from? Why are you not afraid to do this? You know, I can recall at one point when I was this is before I became an importer, I would go downtown LA, you know, to the little garment district, but it was also where you would get a lot of wholesale stuff. And I was getting all kind of costume jewelry and, you know, just gorgeous stuff. And I would have people have little house parties. And I was selling my own jewelry that I got wholesale. And my friend with me a couple of times, and she fizzled out. She goes, I don't know how you can. I get afraid that they won't like, you know, the jewelry. How do you know? I said, well, they're all different kinds. Somebody's going to like it. I liked it, you know. And then I graduated into importing until I ran into what importing was truly about. But as a single parent, because I had my first son, Anthony, call him Tony, and I was 20 years old and 22 with my second son, and I was getting divorced pretty much within 2 years after my second son was born. So a lot of my friends are like, you know, and I worked for the post office, because I started working for the post office when I was 18. No, it wasn't 18. I was actually 20 when I started working for the post office. I worked at a hospital when I was 18. And they said, well, now that you have your sons, you know, you have to just stick with the post office. That's a good government job.
Oh, gosh, I heard that.
You know, you can't, you know, you're a single mother now at this point. You can't keep having these dreams, because I was still dreaming of the next company I wanted to start. It never stopped. But my friends were like, you have to think of the security. You need a regular paycheck. And in reality, I did. You know, I did need a regular paycheck to take care of my sons. But the dream never left me. So as soon as I could, I was right back into being an entrepreneur. And I'm telling you, it took an 18-year detour, but not really, because when I was 27, I became a real estate agent. And I made more, this was 1988, and the market crashed in 89. But in 88, I made more money part-time selling real estate, part-time on the weekends only, than in my full year at the post office. So I had these dreams. Oh my God, I'm quitting. And me, I'm gonna become a broker. I'm gonna open up my own real estate, agency. That was my dream. But then when the market crashed, I was actually glad I had that government job, because yes, a lot of the agents in the office were coming to me saying, "Do you think the post office is hiring? Do you think the?" I'm like, I don't know. But that was just my story, that they weren't negative telling me that I couldn't do it. It was more, you shouldn't do it. We know you always accomplish what you set your mind to, but you really shouldn't want to do that being a single mother, especially when I was married again and divorced again, and I have 4. That you really shouldn't have those dreams. But I definitely did, and I never gave up. So that's my story.
And you're sticking to
I'm
it.
sticking to it. So what's your story?
You absolutely always had that entrepreneurship in you. I had a little bit of that. I don't think as much as you when I first started. So when I retired from the Postal Service, now when I worked in the Postal Service, I did a little entrepreneurship. I did, that makeup company, and I did that because at the time I was a widow, and like you, I had 2 children. And I needed to really supplement my income. And I was really easy, to just talking to my girlfriend, walked up to my desk and she said, "You need to do this." And I looked and I said, okay. I'm looking for people like me who just say, I'm ready to rock and roll and run. So I did that for several years, and it was lucrative, but you had to hustle, you had to take product, you had to deliver product and do classes and all like that. And sometimes people just got a lipstick, So, but when I retired from the Postal Service, I realized that my retirement pension was not going to be enough. And it just, I decided, well, you know what? I need to supplement my income. Just was not enough. So I was looking for something. So when this awesome opportunity came along, I jumped at it. But one of the things that I realized, I always set goals, but I did not know that I didn't have dreams. I really did not have dreams. And this company, Carapos International, has allowed me to dream again. And one of my biggest dreams is I have a granddaughter in Okinawa, and I want to be able to go there and spend some really good time there. And it's going to cost some serious money. And also to bless her when I get there with all kinds of, just spoil her rotten. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my biggest dreams. And so I was in the marketing department at the Postal Service. And I just, I said, all right, I could do this. So I started talking to friends and family. That's the people that you go to right away. And I got questions like, gold? What are you going to do with the gold? Where does the gold come from? Well, is the gold real? So I was giving all kinds of responses like that. And one of my dear friends said to me, well, I have my Roth IRAs, I have my CDs and my savings account. And, I'm fine. I'm okay. I really want to support you, but I really don't see the value in it. And I was like, okay, fine. But my husband has always been my backer. He looked at me and he said, listen, you have the marketing background, just why don't you go for it? You could do that. Just go for it. So he was always, encouraging me. and pushing me. So I said, sure, I'm going to do it. So when I wanted to aspire to become a VIP, because my first event, I was not a VIP and I did not want to be left out again. He got behind me. He says, you know what? You want to be a VIP? You go for it. And when I wanted to get my premium package, he was like there. He says, you can stretch yourself, go for it. So yeah, I had a little bit of both. I had the friends that said, are you crazy? Go. But I had my husband who said, you know what, you could do this, you go for it. And there's so many people that work, 30, 40 years, and they're always working for someone else. And it's time, guys, to work for yourself. It is time to do something for yourself. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
The beautiful thing, Maxine, talking about what we do in Karatbars International, what we do here in Wealth Builders Worldwide is and I love it, it's right behind you on your desk. We teach people to dream, and you can live your dreams. Now, your dream might not be, my dream is to be in network marketing. But the beautiful thing about, especially being a Karatbars affiliate, running a business, is once you get it going, you have the time to whatever your dream is, live it. Like you said, you want to go visit your granddaughter, Lauren. I think her name's Lauren, right? Uh-oh, your camera's frozen. Yeah, camera's frozen, Maxine.
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. Yeah. And you can run your business while you're right there in Japan.
Lauren.
Yeah, while you're right there in Japan, you'll be able to run your business and get some affiliates over there. So that's the beautiful thing. But what I want to do is, your camera's frozen. But what we want to do is, good.
Freezing again?
Yeah, it is. Okay, I think it's moving. I think there you go.
I hit it.
Go ahead, leaders. Put some, or Facebook friends and family, put some of your challenges. Did you have, positive impacts for living your dreams? Or they could be negative, but because sometimes we do have negative impacts on living our dreams. But what I want to do is I want to start off with the first story. And at first, we want to thank everyone that went to canwechathere.info and put your stories in. Thank you so much, because this is what we're here for. We're here to hear each other's stories. But this particular story is by one of our wonderful leaders in Wealth Builders Worldwide and Karatbars, Mr. Willie Brown. We featured he and his wife, Sherry Brown. They were our first guests for 2018.
Absolutely, yes.
Willie and Sherry Brown with Woody and Uncle Rufus. So Willie told this story on the power call, and it was about dreams. And he was saying, don't let anyone steal your dreams. And he told the story of, he's a young teenager, 13, 14. And he had ordered his first dummy, and it was coming COD, and he paid $135 for it. And when the UPS guy came to the door, COD for Willie Brown, COD for Willie Brown, he's rushing to the door, and his father's right behind him because his father's name was Willie Brown as well. So his father's thinking he didn't order anything. And so Willie Jr. opens the door and he goes, "It's a dummy, Dad. It's a dummy for me." And the delivery guy said, "Okay, that's $135. And he said, his dad said, $135? Boy, you the dummy. They took you $135 for a dummy. Well, Willie told me his determination. He kept practicing, and he would do talent shows, and he would win local talent shows. And it got to the point, he says, his father would brag on him at work, and he's going to be here, watch for my boy. And he said at age 15, there was a national ventriloquist convention in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky.
Mhm.
His parents let him at 15. He talked them into it.
Yeah.
Get on a plane by himself.
Mhm.
He said, I saved up my money for this whole event. They let him get on a plane, and then he had to take, I think he said a bus for the rest of the way. But he also stayed in the hotel for 4 days by himself.
Yeah.
You know? And he did so well at that competition. He won the Alan Seamont Award, and that was in the junior division. He won over all the juniors, and part of the prize was he got another dummy. And he says he still has, he still has that dummy today, you know, because it was so important to him when he won that dummy. But he says, you know, he started being able to live his dream, and his father was one of his biggest supporters, you know.
Awesome.
And that was just such a wonderful story. So I'm so happy you told us that story, Mr. Willie Brown, on the power call, because this gave us the idea for tonight's topic. Now, Maxine, can you read a couple of the submissions that we received online?
Okay, that now most of them didn't share what type of businesses they were starting, but that's okay. That's okay. So this first one here is from Lisa. Lisa was told by her sister, "You don't have a clue as to what you're doing. I know you think you can handle it, but you don't understand the market. How are you going to get people to buy into what you're doing? You know, starting and managing a business can be stressful. Where are you going to get the people from? Family, friends? You know they'll run out on you." So that was Lisa's first non-encouragement of starting her own business. Now we've got Lou. Lou said, "My dad told me, now you know you need the security of a steady paycheck." That's like people were telling you, Sheila.
Yeah.
"Starting a business can be a roller coaster ride. Sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. That means that there will be days where you will have no cash flow whatsoever. You know what that means, son? No money. Things can get real tight, especially during this down economy. You can't live with the ups and downs of your own business. You better keep your secure job and regular paycheck. Besides, it's better that you stay there as a crew manager, because you know your next promotion is shift manager. Just think about it. You can make shift manager at McDonald's in another year. Ooh, in another year, you'll be on fries."
You know, now we're not that when you hear the thinking sometimes of others.
Absolutely.
It's kind of comical, but we weren't laughing, or I wasn't smiling because somebody's a shift manager at McDonald's. That's a promotion.
That is a promotion.
Okay. And sometimes you need to work wherever you need to work to live your dream. See, that's why it's important, no matter what you're doing, to still have a dream that's larger than the current situation you're living in. See, that's why it's important. And for the circle of influence, that what was that person's name, Maxine? Did they leave a name?
That was Lou.
Lou has. Lou is probably making the most money, or amongst the most, of his circle of friends.
Of his circle of influence, absolutely.
And that's the kind of encouragement they got. You know, you manager, you're gonna be shift manager. Oh no, another couple years.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment in his circles. And how many times have we've heard with Wealth Builders Worldwide, let your job finance your future. Yes. Let your job finance your future. There's nothing wrong with having a job, but that's not the epitome. That's not the end of the road, the end of the line. you still have to have dreams, and your dreams can take you so much further. Back to you, Sheila.
Yes. And I'm going to read another one, but first I'm looking in the Facebook live stream. Deborah Chisholm, she lives with her brother. They had a TBI, which should be a traumatic brain injury. You know, so she's dealing with his needs, but she is so happy that she has her Carrot Bars business, because see, this she can do while taking care of her brother, and eventually this is going to she'll be able to afford private care. You know, really, Deborah, keep doing your business, keep working hard, but get a dream. You know, what's your dream? What do you see? What do you want this wonderful vehicle of Carrot Bars to do for you and your family situation? What do you want, for you and your brother? See, because once you really start getting those dreams fixed in your head, you're gonna really get out there and pick up the phone, email, text, post, more with your Carrot Bars business. Thank you so much, Deborah, for putting that in our Facebook live chat. Go ahead, Maxine. You can kind of comb it for some more stories.
This one is from Jessica B. This is what was said to me. Now, I've seen you start a dozen businesses without any getting off the ground. What makes this one different? You know you don't have the money to start a business. Where are you going to find the capital? What if it doesn't work? You'll probably have to borrow money, and what bank is going to give you any money? I was told, this is Jessica saying, she said, your credit score isn't that great. You won't pass the lending criteria. You've got big dreams, but I don't see it happening. And guys, that's what we have to avoid, is the dream killers. Because there'll always be dream killers around. But you have to have such a passion in you that when the naysayers say that you can't do it, you just continue on anyway. And sometimes it is family. It's sometimes family, it's sometimes friends. And they feel that they're protecting you. But, you have to press past that.
Yeah. And I'm going to read one. This one was submitted online. Can we chat here from Jeff W. He says, in my early 20s, at one point, I had 6 different jobs within 18 months. He says, my father told me that I should just go ahead and enroll in the military because that was going to give me some structure. It's too bad that Jeff could not have run into one of us wealth builders and we asked him the simple question, does he keep his income options open? Hopefully Jeff would have had, an open mind enough to even say yes, because sometimes when we get this, all of a sudden he's thinking the only place for me is the military. Now, Jeff didn't say, this is all he submitted, because he said this was in his early 20s. So we don't know if he went into the military or not, but sometimes the military is that, well, look, if you don't do nothing else, go to the military, so that kind of, and the interesting thing is, you don't know if that was negative or was that positive.
But yeah, really not sure.
You honestly don't know. Was that negative for Jeff or was that positive for him? But that was just one of the stories that you hear sometimes family, and this was his father that told him that. So do you have another one, Maxine?
I do. I have one from Anthony. Anthony says, I was encouraged with these words by my father. You can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, but it will take time and effort. Then he asked this question, do they have training on this? How are you going to do it? What's your plan? I like those questions because they stimulate answers. I'll tell you this is what his dad said. When you build something or do something successful, it feels great. You have vision, and when it's all in place, you can proudly say, I did this. Now that's very encouraging. And that reminds me of Mary Kay Ashwood, and she shared that her mom always told her that she could do and be anything that she wanted to be. And when you instill that in a young person and continually nurture that and encourage them, they will excel because they won't know anything else but, not defeat. They'll know that they can do it, that they can soar past whatever challenges, whatever obstacles, that they will continually strive and be successful.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm looking at our Facebook live stream. We've got Mr. Antoine Flippin. He identified with Jeff W.'s story. He says, that's exactly what my late father told me at 19. So I joined the United States Navy from 1988 to 2001. So that's something that's common. And bottom line, that could have actually, we don't know. Sometimes people are going down and I'm not saying this about you, Antoine.
No.
Sometimes people are going down a bad path. And they feel like the military is going to kind of shape them up. They're going to have to answer to somebody, give them some structure. And it does turn their lives around. You just never know. That's why we said, we're not saying if that was a good thing or was it a bad thing. Now I have this one is from Summer J. And what Summer J, she said, she always wanted to follow her dream of being an actress. That was just her dream, that she wanted to be an actress. So when she turned 50, she says, I decided to pursue my dream at age 50.
Okay.
She says, full time. She was told by many of her friends that she was too old. She was too old to stop doing what she was doing and now pursue her dream of becoming an actress. And then she says, I have been in more than 15 commercials. She's had small parts in 6 movies, and she's appeared in more than 26 small parts in 26 TV shows. She says, I am not too old. And she also says, people don't realize that I'm not too old. People don't realize,
You think about it, as far as being an actor and actress, you need people from all sorts of lives, silver hair, blonde hair, whatever. So yeah, there's a part for her. Yeah,
exactly. The thing is, yes, there are odds, but there are odds in everything. But absolutely. She is pursuing her dream. So every time she gets a part, she feels like she's accomplishing a part of that dream. There's hardly any movies you don't see a senior.
Right. Absolutely.
If you're watching TV in the daytime, most commercials feature seniors because they feel like seniors are at home watching, They
can relate. Yeah.
Right. There are plenty of senior citizen parts. So,
there was a really funny, I think it was the only one that was funny, with the Super Bowl, and it was seniors. It was such a great commercial, but it was all seniors doing wacky things. So there is a place for the seniors, for the silver-haired people. Okay.
One of those seniors, Maxine, could quite possibly have been Summer J. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
We don't know what her last name is.
Yeah.
But now, do you have another one?
I do. This is Michelle A. She said, I was told by my old boss that I had good networking skills because networking is a people business and I am a people person. I love meeting new people. She also said that I have a great circle of friends who will support me or at least check it out. So that's good. She said, your friends can help you launch your business, but make sure You learn the business well by associating with knowledgeable people who can mentor and train you, and then go for it. Now, to me, that's the epitome of wealth builders worldwide.
Yes, exactly.
The mentors and the leaders that we have in wealth builders and the training that we have.
Yes.
You could do, what else can you do but excel?
Exactly. And the interesting thing is that person was kind of laying out a foundation. Okay, if you want to do this, this is the support you're going to need to be successful. You know, that was very positive. That was definitely very positive. Let's see. Somebody says, great, you're never too old to have a dream. I am looking right now to see if there are, Mr. Willie Brown, he's made a comment here. He says, many of us don't know all of the gifts that we have within ourselves. And then he says, sometimes parents don't know the gifts that their own children have. That is so true, Mr. Willie Brown.
Point. That's a very good point.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter, I can remember I had just quit the post office and I had started opened up my first pet store. Of course, that didn't work, but anyway, it was a rodent pet store. So
Lord,
rats, mice, hamsters. I had some chinchillas in there.
Oh God,
that was
Lady Doolittle.
Yeah, that's why I kind of had that Dr. Doolittle. And I was the first in the little city that I opened it up in. It wasn't too far from my home, but I was the first African American business owner in that city. So that met with interesting opposition, very interesting opposition. But
at least
one of the things I had asked my children, because the post office was so demanding of like 10, 11 hours, usually 11 minimum daily for me being the station manager. And I told them, okay, I'm going to take a break. And I'd already known that pet store thing was not going to work. You know, that was something my last husband that I divorced, that was his dream, not mine. Look, if you're going to put money into something, put it in your dream.
But you were willing to support him.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, all right.
I saw that he wasn't that committed, and I'm like, well, this never was my dream anyway. You know, I had already had a business plan of the next company that I was going to run. But I looked at my son and my daughter. Destiny was 8. No, she was about 9. Stephen was about 7. And I asked her, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a 6-month break before I start my next business. And I was already working part-time at a hospital at the time, you know, trying to see if I could get the pet store off the ground. And I said, so what would you like to do? And Destiny said, I want to sing. And I said, Stephen, what would you like to do? And he didn't know. He's 7. He didn't know. So I told Destiny, okay, you want to sing? We're going to have to get you a singing coach. So I ended up asking around at the job. I said, okay, my daughter wants to sing at the hospital. Does anybody know in the Valley, you know, where I can find a Black coach, you know, that could teach her how to sing or guide her? And the manager that was working in the business office at the hospital said, yeah, I know one. Her name is Deborah Sharp Taylor. Hey, Miss Deborah. She played Stephanie in The Wiz on Broadway after Stephanie Mills left. She played Stephanie, and she was a later version, Supreme. And she happened to be over the church choir of a local church that wasn't far from me. He goes, call the church. They'll give you a number because I know she does private lessons. And so called her up. She started doing the private lessons and everything, and you know, nurtured Destiny. One thing we found out, singing really wasn't her gift. Wasn't her gift.
Singing is not your ministry.
But Deborah definitely taught her how to hold a tune. You know, so much so that when and then Deborah said, no, you know what? Destiny needs to be in acting. That's actually how we got involved with acting. Her husband, her husband, Ron Taylor, he was in The Wiz on Broadway at the same time Deborah was. That's where they met. He played the Cowardly Lion, and he had a lot of parts. You know, he was in Deep Space Nine, Starships. He got a lot of TV parts. You know, so he and her were both in acting as well. And so they kind of segued us into me getting Destiny into the entertainment industry. And that actually ended up being what she really loved to do. You know, she really loved being in front of the camera, and she got some movies and definitely quite a few TV shows and a lot of commercials. But, you know, when I said, well, what do you want to do? Because I'm not going to start that. I'm going to not start another business for 6 months. Because once I start this other business, I'm going to be having to dive into it, and I'm willing to put in the work. And I tell you, that detour I never started that other business because I ended up having to be stage mom. Yeah. Because that ended up just being very lucrative for her. And, you know, but anyway.
That's great that you asked them what it is that they want it to be. Because a lot of times parents actually, when they haven't fulfilled their own dreams, they try to live their dreams through their children. And sometimes that can be a real disaster because they're kind of forcing, you know, what they didn't do and how far they didn't go. And they're forcing it on their children, and their children really don't want to do that. So, so that I thought that's really cool. Just ask them, or even get them thinking. Like you got them thinking. Maybe Stephen was 7, he was too young, but you put that in his mind that, you know, as he got older, to think, what is it that you want to do, Stephen? You know, think about it. At least you planted that seed. So I think that was excellent.
Well, and the thing is, since he didn't know, I put him in the same acting classes that she was in, you know, just in case. And believe it or not, he had himself an agent, and he was going out.
Wait till I see Stephen.
Yeah, he was up for some. Actually, he was in a movie called. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of the movie. Oh my goodness, he was background extra, but a featured extra in the Italian Job. That was the name of it.
I remember that movie.
Yeah. But anyway, he finally, you could see there was no love in it for him. Yeah. And finally, I said, Stephen, because he was up for a callback for the movie Dodgeball. That's an older movie now. And I paid, because I always pay for private coaches when they had big movie parts. And he says, I just don't want to do it. And I told him, I said, he was 13. I said, you don't have to do this. You never had to do this. But your agent worked really hard for this audition. I want you to do your best because this is going to be your last audition. I want you to go out with a bang. So I got him a private coach. And do you know he got the call back?
Oh, see, because you put all that effort.
Yeah, and when I said
strive for excellence,
he walked out of there smiling.
Oh,
he was smiling because he knew this is the last time.
That was the last. Yeah, he was smiling not because he did such a great job. I'm done with this.
Yeah. But when I told him he got the call back, the look on his face was like, "What?"
He couldn't believe it.
But yeah, he got beat out by a more experienced actor. But you know, it's just anyway. You just never. You could tell when it's not a child.
Yeah.
A child's.
Your heart is not in it. Yeah.
No. So anyway,
we got an anonymous one. This is a real short one here, but very, very powerful. And this is how folks can shoot your dreams down, and you can't let them do it. So anonymous said. This was told to, I don't know whether it's male or female, so this is what was said. You have inadequate resources to start a business. No money. Get over it because I'm not lending you money. And that's final. So, but will Anonymous let that stop him and her? I hope not.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, that should inspire you to go ahead and prove them wrong, that you don't need their money. You have your dream and you just keep pressing forward and chasing and running down your destiny.
That's right.
Anonymous, don't let people stop you.
That's right. And Miss Sheila Nolan, Maxine, in our Facebook live chat, she put, my family is so stuck on a job mentality and don't have a clue what to dream or something outside of their comfort zone. They don't respect me enough to even look at what I've been trying to share with them. So negative. Then I think, Sheila, you're going to have to think about inviting them on your private yacht. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
They may not get that private invitation. Okay, but you're going to be a millionaire.
Yes.
And you
have them wrong.
And you have a wealth building family that is definitely here for you.
They love and support you. Now, while you're looking at that, I, like you, work for the Postal Service. And that's one of the things that always stuck in my mind when I did apply, that, okay, it's civil service. This is a secure job. This is a good job. This is a career job. And it was a means to getting to another point, but it was not the end. It was, and for me, that never was the epitome even of arriving to getting a route. I started as a letter carrier and worked my way up to national account manager. But even that was just not enough. It wasn't secure, and it certainly proved that when I retired. It wasn't secure.
Exactly.
So,
we have Miss Sharon King saying her mother supported her. She became a dancer and she loved it. And we have Mr. Matthew Taylor saying, always speak into your children's, ears about their genius culture and protect their greatness no matter what. That is so true.
Very true.
And I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we want to definitely thank all of you that share your stories online, because without your submissions, we wouldn't have had stories to tell.
Yeah.
We all have stories. And Maxine, you always remind us of what Can We Chat Here is all about.
Yes.
It's about our stories.
Our stories, our journeys, our dreams.
Yeah.
All the challenges, but we're family, and what we share, we enhance, our each other, and we are here to make a difference, to just enhance people's lives.
Thank you so much. So can you tell them what next week is all about?
Next week's topic is leading a team versus managing a team.
Leading versus,
or are you a leader? There's quite a difference.
Yes.
And we're going to share that.
Yes. And, of course, we're going to get some wonderful, we couldn't even approach that topic. I could approach it on an area outside of network marketing, being a manager and a leader, but it's different when you are building a team, in this wonderful network marketing environment. So we're going to get a lot of personal development input from Mr. Ty Best before we come on next Monday.
We'll be prepared.
Maxine, I have to tell you this really quick story. I was at a networking lunch today, and there was a photographer at our lunch. He was first time he'd been, this is a chamber lunch, first time he'd been at our chamber. And he was talking about, the prices he does for professional headshots. And I told him, I said, I might give you a call because his price was very reasonable. And he says, I said, because my Facebook profile picture, I took it in 2003. And he goes, okay, so that means it's a
few changes.
I said, hey, I still look just as good now. So let me show it to you. So I showed it to him. And he says, you're not smiling and you kind of look a little firm. And I looked across the table because he was at my table, and I said, yeah, but that's why I liked it.
That's you, Sheila.
I said, that's why I liked it. But see, you understand where I have been
And where you have grown. Oh, yeah.
now, being owning my own business, owning my own corporations, having employees, I wasn't here to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I'm here to run a successful business, period. But this next picture, guys, my next professional picture, because I am setting up a headshot, I will be smiling. But I told him, I said, look, when I got involved with network marketing on our team, Wealth Builders Worldwide, I said, twice a year, we have our team events. And I learned to smile.
You sure did.
I learned to hold it.
Yeah.
I learned to look at another camera and hold it. I said, that was so foreign to me, smiling in pictures. So thank you, Wealth Builders Worldwide. It's all because of you out there.
I have to add one more. And she learned to hug.
Yeah, I did. I learned to hug.
She's still a little, but she tolerates.
It's professional hugs. I've learned to professionally hug. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Maxine, can you?
Okay. Well, guys, it's been wonderful having you in the chat room. Don't forget, if you want some specific topics that you want us to talk about, make sure that you put it on canwechathere.info. Finally got it right. Yeah. Yes. But we just love chatting with you. So for next time that you are in the chat room, we look forward to seeing you again. Good night.
Good night, everybody.